We've been talking about this security for political functionaries for a while now on the show, and we're happy to be joined by Na Hamza Yakubu. He is commanding officer, formed police unit. He'll tell us about this unit in a bit, but good morning, sir, and thanks for being here.
Good morning.
Roland says he only sees you during election year.
Well, he chooses to see me only during those periods. So,
but we're grateful for your time.
Thank you.
First of all, this formed units. What does a unit do?
Well, it's one of the operational units of the police service. And it actually has the sole responsibility of public order management, not only in Ghana, but internationally. It's a unit that has that responsibility here in Ghana and also is deployed to United Nations missions to also police, especially IDP camps, internally displaced people's camps in areas that there are unrest.
Okay.
So basically that is what it means.
Okay.
That's
sure. Can you give us the details of exactly what the police will do for the political parties? What's the plan?
Well, thank you. The police is not only thinking about plans for political parties, but for the citizens of Ghana, which of course includes the political parties. So our plans in this election year is actually to come up with a comprehensive package that entails providing a serene security atmosphere that would enable voters, politicians, political parties, state officials like the EC, the media, everybody that is involved in making the thing a success, get the protection that is required. So those are our plans. But specifically for political parties, the police administration has already started engaging all political parties in discussions. This way, it is believed that we would get to know the problems that are likely to crop up and whatever fears that the various political parties have. So we can quickly include that into our plans and get the ball rolling.
Do we have like maybe a number of police officers that you're thinking of allocating to the political parties? So MPP, NDC, CPP?
Yeah, not to the political parties, but to presidential candidates and their running mates.
Okay.
The police administration has engaged the political parties, and it has been agreed. The police administration has decided that for every presidential candidate, 4 persons would be assigned.
4 police officers?
4 police officers.
Is there a certain rank? Sorry.
The rank?
Yes, of the police officers who will be guarding them.
Well, not specific. What is even interesting here is, before I get into that, and for the running mates, they will have 2 officers. Now with the ranking, in fact, the politicians or the political parties have been given the option of choosing police officers they would feel comfortable with.
Oh, really?
This looks a bit strange, but then there is a reason why we think we should do that. It's part of the dialoguing system, and I believe you and I know as a fact that they've always expressed issues of mistrust. And this cuts across. Anytime this party is in power, the police belongs to the governing party. So the opposition parties would then castigate the police. You are doing the bidding of the government, yes.
Yeah.
When it turns around, we are faced with the same situation. So we actually don't see where we belong. It is for this reason that to cast away that mistrust, we say if you have any police officers you think you will feel comfortable with, please let us know.
Any at all, or you're giving them a certain list for them to choose?
No. We are all Ghanaians.
From
I believe
across
that
the country?
everybody knows. Yes, no, anywhere in the country.
Oh.
Anywhere in the country, if you know a police officer and you think you can feel comfortable, the police administration is prepared to assign that police officer.
With whatever rank?
Yes, with whatever rank. It would not whatever rank, because certainly we are not going to be able to deploy very senior officers to go and do those duties. No. We have a certain rank that is meant for guard duties or protection duties, and so that is how it's going to look like. But with supervision from senior officers.
Well, comfortability is important, and you want them also to have that sort of relationship with the officers who guard them. But we know that there's been a pre-election history of some parties having some fracas or grievances or perhaps some fractious relationships among themselves. That had led to whether they are security forces or security people within the parties causing some mayhem with some incidents that have been recorded. In the dialogue with the political parties, have you taken that into cognizance?
That's one of the key reasons for meeting them, because if you would recall, the Inspector General of Police has indicated the intention of the police administration to banish all security vigilante groups. This is a non-constitutional method of politicking, because the Constitution disallows anybody to raise any police force in this country. And so therefore, it has become necessary for us to engage them and let them get that message clear that we aren't going to allow that to happen.
Have they agreed to that? To disband their various forces? And we have to say we have the Azoka boys of the NDC. We also have invisible forces, Delta forces of the NPP. Have they agreed to disband those forces prior to the election and within the election period?
Well, we haven't gotten those clear indications.
But you've started assigning personnel?
Yes, we have made our intentions clear to them that this is what is going to happen. We expect that, matured as they are, and especially people who want to govern this country, we expect that they would actually be honest to themselves, truthful to the people of this country, and make sure that they listen to what is good for the people of Ghana. Because the use of vigilantes during political period, rallies and all these things, is not the best for the people of this country. And so if people, all parties, who want to govern this country, and in governance, one important thing that is very key is security. And so if you create insecurity, then I'm sorry to say whoever would want to do that might be classified as not fit to rule this country.
Can a party reject your offer of police protection?
Or have you
they could do so if we had forced people on them. It is for this reason that we say, please you select your people. So if you do, then we don't see the reason why you should reject. If for any reason you select somebody, the person is assigned and you feel uncomfortable, our doors are open. Come back to the police administration, a change would be made. Again, according to your own choice. What's even interesting is that it emerged at the meetings that they are even asking us to go beyond the presidential candidate and his running mate. They are asking that general secretaries and chairmen of the parties should also be given the same facility, which the police administration is considering.
Okay.
I also have a concern. These police officers will eventually be chosen by the candidates and their running mates themselves. Will they also, or isn't there the fear that they will also be tagged as being either NPP, NDC, or CPP because they chose you?
Then again, that should go back to the politicians. They then should actually
have a rethink.
Come again.
Have a rethink and
yes, of such situations, because they are the people who always tag us as belonging to political parties. They tag us. Everybody in Ghana has a relative who is a police officer. And so that one to the police administration does not come in at all. The police administration would not. This is not the first time anyway. It happened in 2008, it happened in 2012. Nobody has ever reported any incidents of harassment after the elections. No. So they themselves should rethink about the tagging of undue tagging of people as belonging to political parties.
But you know, there's the other side of this as well. Even within the police force,
They
will
could be
these
tagged.
people not be seen as, oh, if this candidate chose you, then it means that you might have a soft spot, or you sympathize or empathize with that particular person.
You might have blood relations,
And following that,
or
sometimes
maybe coming from the same area with the person. That could determine the choice. Not necessarily being an insider. Not. But let us not forget that we vote as well. We vote as well, and at certain levels, politicians come to us wanting us to
Do certain
also
things.
do certain things for them.
well, we do understand that. I guess also we're premising this very question because for many of the times after the elections, you get to find that people are moved here and there as far as their postings are concerned. And so that also is a hindsight for us as media.
We just hope that the police force will take
movement of
note
police
of that.
officers. It's one of the acceptable norms of the
Well, that's
service.
what you say. But those are the tools that you also abuse.
Hold on. Normally, you would find that it has to do with the top hierarchy. When there is a change of administration, for instance, if I'm privileged to be appointed the Inspector General of Police today, I have a choice at least to reshuffle my cabinet. You see, sometimes people would read certain things into it, but no, it has nothing. It is normal. It's a normal practice in all organizations. You just don't come in. You enter into a new premises. You certainly want to tidy up the place and make sure the place looks neat and comfortable for your stay. And so that one, that notion is often misplaced.
Okay. In trying to have all this very dialogue with the political parties, we know very recently there was this very impasse with national security and the NPP over people who were brought into route and training. And as you do discussions to make sure you annul or to make null and void the various vigilante supposed groups in the various political parties, how have you trashed the issue of getting extra hand in security provision by the parties, either by way of training or deployment in election period?
One, no political party has approached the police to seek assistance in training any category of people. If they do, I believe that the police administration would give it a consideration. But then it should be well placed. For instance, if you want to have your polling agents trained as to what to look for, signs of danger, in order to be able to pass on information to the police, what we call early warning signs. We are prepared to at least give them training in that direction. But we certainly would not train people who would want to come and identify themselves with their T-shirts and come to assume the responsibility of security officers. No.
Okay.
Since that is unconstitutional, that is not what we are going to do.
So let me just draw your mind to this. And again, in reference to the incidents the last 2 weeks, there's a rally at Manchagbona, or former Indafa Park, or Mandela Park in Ashaiman, or wherever it is. There's a huge crowd. The police don't have the numbers enough, or perhaps maybe have not been available at the time to make sure that they police the crowd or guard the crowd. And so the parties think that they need to have their personnel who will be doing the choboy in local parlance. And now they are bringing people from whether foreign land or elsewhere or with other expertise, whether they are inland or not, to come and do that type of services. They have not applied to you. What would you do?
It's absolutely wrong.
So
you
what would
cannot
you do?
import people from anywhere.
So what would you do?
We would act as a police.
What will you do?
We would effect arrest or maybe call off the event. We'll call off the event.
But you know, there are private security, the private security services.
Fine. Yes.
Can't I use
If you
private
engage
security?
the services of a private security organization, come assist us. Like I know Joy FM here, you have private security people here. It's fair enough.
But
they are working within the framework of
But we know the political parties don't engage the framework, within the framework. the services of the private security organization.
I'm only saying that, assuming or granting
I asked the question of, can you use private security then at a rally?
There is nothing wrong with it.
No, but we know that has not been the norm. And you have great experience in it, and I know you very well. They don't. So what will you do?
They don't. But what we are saying is that if you attempt to raise a private security force that is not registered, you are wrong. That one we will stop it. As to the issue of us being able to police any rally, the Public Order Act requires that you give us notification of any public event 5 days in advance. That is meant to say that you give us the opportunity to mobilize enough personnel and come and give you the protection that you may require. And so once you do that, it's okay with us. We come and give you the protection, and then so there will not be the need for you to go and bring in any other people, especially if you decide that you would go outside Ghana to go and bring them. I think that would have to look at that seriously.
Okay, so people are watching us and they've also got questions and comments, particularly on WhatsApp on 0560 800,000. So we will read some of your messages. The provision of close security for political party flag bearers is welcomed, but they should be prepared to disband their private securities so that there will not be counter orders here and there. Estelo in Ho is saying on WhatsApp. This one says, Mamavi, ask him why all these arrangements. This is not the first time Ghana is voting. From Mac in Jemebija Sekan Buem is asking. So why are we doing this now? Because this is not the first time that we're voting.
We said Prince, so that 2008, 2012, it happened.
But you didn't allow them to choose.
In all those instances, they chose.
Oh, really?
Yes, in all those instances.
Okay. Prince, I'm watching Kaboni Wright from Oforikum. Welcome, Dr. Okay, this is not on this particular subject, so I'll skip it for now. This one says, great discussion. This is a strategic move by the police administration. However, peace and security before, during, and after elections are a collective responsibility. Every Ghanaian owes Ghana the moral responsibility of behaving properly. Ghana has a good track record in its governance and democratic practices. The world is watching, you say. Daniel Kabo, Makeni City in Sierra Leone, sending us that message. This one says, Mamavi and Roland, I personally don't think the security arrangement for our politicians is the best, though I am not a security expert. Won't it degenerate into another thing altogether? Let the police officer assure us. I mean, choosing the policemen they prefer. Salom Mensah in Likpe. Mate's ask is saying, very, very important point you're making there. Let's see if I can read one more. This one says, what of the ordinary Ghanaian? We also need protection from Diodene from Navrongo. And there was another question that came in earlier. Somebody said, how about journalists? We cover the elections. What will happen to our stations and when we are out there?
Media personnel who cover elections are adequately protected. Because like I said in my opening, they are adequately protected because...
Since when?
No. We don't provide one-to-one security as in this case. But then the general cover that we give, it's what gives the protection.
Okay.
And don't forget, I believe that you have been on the field for some time now. You know very well that we're always mindful of ensuring that the media personnel have the leverage to be able to enter into places and to get their work done well.
Well, we work with you, so we know that relationship is still there. So, but for the political parties to make sure that they have that trust, you have established this or reignited this very relationship. At what point then do you want to say you want to consolidate it by having the extra security cover? Because you say you want to provide general security too. How many personnel would you be involving, and what's the general plan? I'm asking this vis-a-vis, right now we have community visibility activities that you undertake. What's the general plan for the whole election beyond this?
Well, you are aware that already the police administration has launched, inaugurated the National Security Elections Task Force. It has been done way back in January, in all regions, it's the same have been done. And this does not involve only the police. We have all our sister security services involved. So we hold regular meetings. Now, manpower mobilization is going to come from across all these security agencies. And so we know very well that we are going to have quite a sizable number of people, especially on election day. But before then, we know that we have this onerous task of ensuring peace and security before the elections, which is now primarily the responsibility of the police, which we are doing. So continuously we are meeting, reviewing our operational strategies. Whatever intelligence that we pick up, we follow up. So at the end of the day, we are sure we are going to be able to provide enough cover. In fact, the key point will be a few months towards the election proper. That is where there will be an upscale in our operational methods. You will clearly see it when we get there.
Okay, so good morning. We always need services like this from the police. That's from David and Techiman. This one says, we know the good works they are doing and we do appreciate them and their works, but they should try as much as possible to be neutral, more that we see them doing so that we can trust them more and depend on them. Their neutrality is highly expected. Good morning. It's from Katechie of Agona Asante. This one says, Mama, tell the policeman they should always show professionalism and be neutral. Maxwell from Bolga is saying on WhatsApp. This one says, Michael from Bolga says, Mamavi, ask the policeman for me, does he vote? And if indeed he does, then how neutral can he be? What are you saying? We
the
all
electoral
vote.
commissioner votes.
Every journalist also does as well. This one says, from Arab Prince Didat, says that the security provisions is very necessary with what has been put in place. I think it will really help sustain peace. We, the ordinary citizens, needs protection too, though, and that's coming a lot. This one says, can you ask the officer if the law permits me to employ foreigner as my personal security advisor? Very good question. This one says, Mahavi, tell my boss, the police officer, that that he's too good, but the police administration, PROs, should be updating with the Ghanaians their strategies by Awa. But Charlie, Awa, if you use strategies in Kwade, they will say no, strategy is for them. This one says the police must be up and doing their professional work. Government go and government comes. We need peace in this election, from Owura Bedouin Konongo. There was one comment that came earlier about you assuring us of this new strategy so that things do not degenerate. What will be your assuring words?
Please, we would urge people to have confidence in us. We would not do anything untoward that would dent our aspirations or the vision of the service. We have a task to perform. So we don't see why. That's why sometimes we wonder when people think about doubt our neutrality in some of these things. Anyway, that is how it's going to be, because you can never place two people by your actions at the same time. Certainly one will be displaced. And especially when you are prepared not to toe the line of any undue pressure, then it's unfortunate. But then we can assure everybody that we would do our best. Okay. We would do our best to ensure that every citizen of this country is protected during the period.
There was a question of, can you take a foreigner as your security advisor?
I don't know in what capacity. If I'm saying in what capacity, is that foreigner going to sit down in his or a country and offer you advice, or you are employing the person here in Ghana? If you are employing the person here in Ghana, go through immigration processes, let the person come, let the immigration service get to know that I'm employing this person in this capacity, apply for a work permit. If the person is granted the work permit, then you have no problem. Until that is done, I don't see how that is possible.
Usually, we know that the other security services that play complementary roles or tend to complement your work. How deep are you in discussions with the other security apparatus or services to provide?
We are far advanced in that direction. immediately after the launching of the
in January,
in January of the National Security Task Force, we just moved into action. We have formed committees. We have logistics committee, we have transport committee, we have ballot box security, we have a deployment committee, all these things. And we meet regularly to make sure that our house is in order before. Normally this would have been done around July, but we decided to have it done in
April.
January. And I think we commend the Inspector General of Police and his administration very much so, because it looks like it's giving us hope that we are going to get there.
Okay, perhaps this will be the final question. I know that a lot of you are still sending a lot more questions. Prince Idiyedi says, are they going to select personnel from only Accra or across the nation? I think that was answered, and this is back to the candidates and their running mates. You said that they could select from wherever.
Anywhere, yes.
All right. So this has been detailed. We want to say thank you for your time. Thank you for being here.
But if I may just be allowed to just have this piece.
Sure.
A policeman's point. A policeman is a composition of what all men are, a mingling of saint and sinner, dust and deity. Less than 1/2% of policemen misfit the uniform. He, of all men, is at once the most wanted and the most unwanted. He must be such a diplomat that he can settle differences so that each will think he won. But if a policeman is pleasant, he is a flirt. If he is not, he is a crutch. He must be able to start breathing, stop bleeding, tie splints, and above all, be sure the victim goes home without a limp or expect to be sealed. He must know every gun, draw on the run, and hit where it doesn't hurt. He must be able to whip two men twice his size and half his age without damaging his uniform and without being brutal. If you hit him, he is a coward. If he hits you, he is a bully. He must know where all the sin is and not partake. The policeman must be a minister, a social worker, a diplomat, a tough guy, and a gentleman. And of course, he would have to be a genius, for he would have to feed and clothe a family on a policeman's salary.
Yeah.
So
this one is universal, right?
It's universal.
Universal.
So I leave this
Okay, but please,
to the people of Ghana.
Sure, we thank you for this beautiful poem, but please take one thing. I think it came through almost all the messages. Yes. Neutrality. We want to feel it. We don't just want you to hear it.
Positive neutrality.
Yeah, we want to feel it.
Positive one.
Yeah. Okay.
It is, I said earlier, I admitted that this is one of the reasons why we are often tagged. Because if you come with a request, I feel it's not safe, and I refuse.
Yeah.
And maybe his request is in tandem with justice, moral justice, natural justice. Then you are going to do what? Say, the policeman is...
Well, we do understand. Once you do the public engagement more, people will get to understand that you are closer. Already, we know the police, you are already closer to the public.
We shall do our best.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
But thank you. We appreciate you being here, sir. Thanks a lot.
And we ask the politicians to be able to understand us. You see, they should understand us. They should not tag us just by convenience.
Okay. That's our talk guest you hear there. So we have to make way. Yeah, now Hamza Yakubu, Commanding Officer, Formed Police Unit. We appreciate your time here. Stay with us. We've got talk. And that's only for Roland.
So. And I always say I see him only every 4 years.
No, but, you choose to.
No, I'm always running about.
Well, we're taking a break. When we come back, we'll have our talk guests in the studio and then we'll do the discussions.